Hello everybody, Joel from J and Bix here. Today I will be reviewing the new for 2018 cargo train that includes a crossing light swapper, or like a control station, and then two of the smaller train cars and one larger one, and of course your engine. And it includes the new power-up sort of system, which is an upgrade from the power function system. So this uses a Bluetooth to connect, and to connect you have to pair them, and then you can control your train just like that. So now that I've gone over what the video is about, let's go ahead and start reviewing the train, starting with probably the best part, the engine. So I'll roll the rolling stock out of here. Get it? Rolling stock. So let's go ahead and get the locomotive and take a look. So from some previous cargo trains, we have the electric connection points, and then you also have a window on both sides. And then to open it, unlike the yellow electric freight train, you actually don't flip up the whole entire cab. You just flip up this little section right here, which flips up two little lights, and then all electric contact point. And then the driver looks like this. A lot different looking from the driver that we got for the yellow cargo train. But anyway, this guy has a pretty basic little system set up in there. If I can get part of the train to come off, I'll go ahead and give you guys a bit of a better look. So I'm going to take off some 1x4 tiles and then the window. So now we can get a bit of a better look. So we have a control panel there, and then a little red seat where our little guy can sit down and man the train. That's if he's willing to sit down. There you go, and then you can shut that, and since I have some stuff off, it doesn't look right. But, in my opinion, the looks of this train are very, very good on the outside and the inside. And then on the inside, it's very, very similar. You just have your two little headlights up there, and then down here as well. And then on the inside, it is quite literally exactly the same. And then you just shut that, so both of the cab doors open exactly the same. And then as for the rest of the exterior, looking from the side, we have a whole bunch of vents with the little transport logo in the middle, which has been on all of our past cargo trains from City. And then we have two stickers there, the two little sticks, which is also on the yellow cargo train. And then turning this around, you can see that once again, it just looks very, very similar and identical. And then to put batteries in, you have to take off these new 1x3 pieces, which usually this came in a 1x4 form, but it's actually a 1x3 now. And then you have to take them off on either side, as you can see here. And then once you have those pieces off, you'll see that this whole entire assembly is kind of wiggling. You lift it all up. And then there is the inside. And then I don't think I can get the power box to come out, but there is the little light there. And then once you have it paired, which I'll go more into detail later, watch the remote and watch this. You can change the color. So that's red, blue, purple, and then green is the stock color. And then on the inside, it's kind of basic. And then you just slide that back down, and then put the 1x3 pieces back on to get everything to sit flat again. And then once you've done that, you should be able to put it on the track. That includes 16 straights, 16 curves, and one little switcher, and then a little sort of siding piece goes from that, with an actual bumper at the end, which we've never actually gotten in a Lego train before, I don't think, in previous sets. But that is the locomotive, so let's go ahead and get this guy out of here. There you go. And now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the rolling stock. So first I'll go ahead and get this guy in here. This is the crane, and I've kept the figures with the spots so that I can show you guys the figures. So I did build this train with my dad, so he built this particular piece of the set. So first thing to note, it's a very, very nice build. You can ooh, that just hooked back on. You can lift up the crane up to, it says 12 tons. That's how much it weighs, but there you go. As you can see, it's kind of out of frame now, and now it's going completely backwards. And you just do that by spinning this little thing on the back, and there's a little indicator sticker showing that. And then when you have this lifted up, you can access the cabin, which is where your little person sits. There's 2 little control sticks there, and then you sit your person down there, which that's the one that you build with the section of the set. And then you can put your roof back on and all that. And then, uh-oh, did not mean to do that. But then you can put your cab back on, and then you have these 2 little compartments which have a little computer set up in there. And then on the other side, you can do the same. And it has a identical computer, which looks really nice in there. I don't think we've ever done anything like that before. And then, of course, if it's a crane, it needs stabilization. So you have these 2 little legs that flip out, which actually don't help all that much. Because as you can see, that could still allow the train to get enough momentum to tip over and just snap these little legs in half. In real life and in Lego life. But anyway, once you're done playing, you can get that. And then use this knob to get your little string to go, and then hook it on that, and there you go. And then you put that, and then roll it off. Which, I'm not going to roll it off yet. But that's the crane section of the train, and then as for the base, you just have a normal black flatbed and 2 trucks. So let's roll that off. And now let's take a look at some of the other rolling stock. No, I told you to get out of here. I don't want you. Stop coming back. Whatever. So this is the second piece of the rolling stock, and I'll go ahead and roll in the third piece. Now, it's a little bit different setup than our previous sets where we have 2 of the larger sort of train cars that are actually have the movable trucks, whereas these ones are just the sort of small ones. Like in the yellow cargo train, we got a octane oil car. But anyway, I'm no one to blame. First, let's go ahead and take a look at this section of rolling stock, as that connects back. So I'm going to take off the little pieces that you can connect. So as for the actual train car build, it's a very, very basic build. I actually forgot to put this piece on at first, so the train car kind of bent in half when you put stuff on. Although I have been having a couple little problems with this train car. As you can see, there's only 1 jumper to allow these things to stick, and if you try to pick up the car, they just pop off really, really easily. So I will be modifying this and putting more jumpers on and stuff. But that's the train car, and then the 2 pieces of rolling stock that you put on top of that are very simple. You've got the bank sort of container, which this guy back here is trying to get into. And I believe the forklift that comes with the set, which I'll show later, can load money in gold into this. And then that's what this guy back here is trying to take. And then that just pops on just like that. And then this one, we actually built a sort of replica of it because my dad liked this build. But this is the little container that it's held in. And then on the side, it looks like a real train container now, because if you don't know, I have another channel where I watch trains. And this looks very, very similar, unlike our past containers, which just have a flat. And then you have a whole bunch of a little slope 1x2 pieces in there to allow that to slide in. And then the little sort of Arctic ski thing is just sitting on a little pallet, which has a jumper on it to allow it to connect. There you go. And pretty cool little ski thing. I haven't had any of the Arctic stuff in a while. And then that sits next to your bank thing. And then connect that to that. And then now let's go ahead and take a look at this train car. Me and my dad have actually built a custom log car, which is a lot taller than this one and a lot more sturdy, because this one's just sort of like a flatbed with stuff on top. But anyway, that is the bottom. And I don't know too much about the construction of this particular little train car because I did not build it. But anyway, you have some very long logs on top, which a decent height. And then this guy's standing right there, and he is trying to get to this, which presumably would have the money in it, but I don't have the money right now. But anyway, that is the little log train car. Once again, it's another one of the half train cars, so it just has 2 of the little trucks on it. And if I can bring my train back in, just like that. That is all of the train rolling stock that you get, and I'm going to go ahead and apparently break the train, which I did not mean to do. Ugh. Well, let's go ahead and scoot that out of here, and we'll get the rolling stock out of here. And now we have to take a look at something that is not actually meant for the rails. It is meant to help with the rails. So if I can get my camera to come up just a little bit, just like that, you can see the build for this is actually very, very good in my opinion. Some other people might have different opinions on this. But anyway, it's a tower that has a light switch on it, which I will be expanding this because it doesn't sit over the center of a rail. But anyway, you turn that back here with a little sticker that indicates twist this, and then you have a piece that stops it from going too far. And then we have a sort of street piece that's letting this be a overhanging roof, which is actually something that I have not seen used too much before. And then you have your door that opens inward and smacks that lady in the face. And then on the other side you just have a window, and these pieces were actually used for the yellow freight train crane. Only said they were molded in dark gray, or a dark gray see-through. But these ones are molded in blue. And then you have your ladder on the side, which flips down and leads up to your little door. And then down on the ground floor, you have a little sort of setup with a wrench on it. And if I can get my train to come along and just push this out of the way, I would be more than thankful. Thank you. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the road rolling stock. So we get 2 different pieces of road rolling stock, or 2 different road vehicles. First one being this little van that carries the money, so you can open up one of the sides, which is really good for child's play. And you have all of your precious valuables in there, being a whole bunch of $100 bills and a stack of money, and then a stack of gold, which just slips in there. And how are you going to get this out, you might ask? With a little forklift. Which the forklift is actually a bit of a new build to me, because the one that came with the blue cargo train is a much more simpler build than this, although they are using the same sort of crane. So there you go, you have the rubber band there, and then same for this one, only that this one's smoother because it's newer. But anyway, as for the forklift, it just has a orange sort of base to it, and then on the back you have your reverse lights. There is the license plate, which that is the set number 60198, and then you have your little sort of flasher light, which we have always seen. And then on the front you have your forklift, which you can pull up to your little van and pick up your gold, just like a real forklift would, and bring it over to your bank setup, which I'll go ahead and grab real quick if stuff doesn't fall all over the place. So you can open up your little doors and then drop your stuff in, just like so. There you go. And then you shut the doors, and now the burglar has something to come and steal. So if I get that out of here, we'll go ahead and take a closer look at the van. So white base and green stripe across the bottom, I presume standing for money because it's a bank. And then bank transport, that's what the van is, it's the bank transport. And I really like the bumper setup up here because it actually looks like a real vehicle that would transport money. It has to be all strong so that nobody can just bust in. And then to get the figure in, very usual, you just pop the top off. And here is your little money transport guy, which I actually really like this guy's printing for his torso, because it's actually just not a non-printed piece that you just said, okay, this can be the guy that drives. It's actually printed to kind of go with the theme of this vehicle. So on the front you can see this guy's little ID and a bulletproof vest and then a tie hiding behind there. And then on the back it says security, and then you have your little walkie-talkie back there, and then This guy's little compartment is pretty usual, although I don't know why, but City has kind of moved away from the concept of having a coffee cup and everything. But that's that, and then the forklift figure is pretty basic. I don't know, you guys can tell me what you think of the figure, but to get the guy in, you just flip that back, or actually, just tip the truck over. So you flip that back, and then you can set your figure in, and then put that back up there. And then rolling these guys out of here, if I can get them to roll out of here, sort of. Let's go ahead and look at some of the other little small things that are included with the set. So, like the sort of control tower with the light on it, this is the only other thing that you get that connects to the railroad. You might be asking, why is it already modified and torn apart? It's because it's already been incorporated to the city without me thinking of the review. But anyway, you would have a identical one of these. It's a little thing that would clip onto the other side, and you would have that little sign on it. It's completely identical. And then you would also have 4 of these little slopes instead of 2 that would go on this side. Only so this is being used for the end of my city where the piece of wood ends. And so this stuff was taken off. So that is the little crossing, and then of course this crossing is meant for vehicles, like some of the ones that are included. And it's very smooth, and if you want to be weird, you can drive your vehicles on the rails. But anyway, that is the crossing, and this connects somewhere on the layout, which consists of 16 straights, 16 curves, and a switcher, which is right here. I'm using this from the interior of our tower, which is right there. There's another one right there. But there is the layout, so you have your siding, which the whole entire train fits in, and then your sort of loop of track, which is a little bit different from past train sets, because usually it's like a square or something, and then the train, like the passenger train, would have a smaller layout. But anyway, that is the J&A Bricks review of LEGO set, what is it? 60198, the 2018 cargo train. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure they subscribe, like this video, and follow us on Instagram. So now you can enjoy some footage of the 2018 cargo train running around our LEGO set.